And hello, I am Coach Michelamonè.
And I'm Coach Vaun, the Love Alchemist.
And this is his
and her perspective.
Where
we find common ground to harmonize relationships.
I love it. I love it. We are here. So what's up, Vaun, today? We need to talk to these people and tell them why they should be watching this show every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right?
Yeah. So this is our introduction. This is our introduction for you, just to give you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. And I think equally important, why you should care.
Yeah, they should care. They should care whether we tell them who we are, right? Anyway.
Yeah, because
we're special,
right?
Definitely. I mean, like, we're a special kind of people. They need to know who we are, right? So listen. So one of the things I wanted to ask you while we're on here is, why did you become a coach, Vaun?
Wow. Well, this starts back to when. So long story short, or short story long, I met my wife when I was 12 years old on the playground, and that's very young, puppy love type of thing, and I liked her, but she was a little older than me, so she didn't like me. She wasn't ready for me yet, and we started dating shortly after that. After I was able to wear her down a little bit and convince her that I was the man for her, and we began dating, and then got married right after high school, and I joined the military right after that. And while I was in the military, I advanced in rank and had subordinates or people that I had to mentor. And inevitably, one of the problems in the military is that we have a lot of marital problems, relationship problems, because there's always so much distance and time between us and our spouses. And so I ended up having to be the guy, even though I had my own relationship challenges at the time. They were junior to me. They were my subordinates. And so as the supervisor, I had to mentor them on their problems while I'm going through my own problems. And so as time progressed, my relationship got better, because, one thing about teaching is that you learn while you're teaching. And so I'm researching on how to help them with their problems. And in the process of helping them with their problems, I'm learning how to deal with some of my own problems. And so my relationship by default got better. And so over time, people began coming to me more and more. And I was encouraged to pursue a larger platform to help more people. And people were admiring of what my wife and I had. And so, again, long story short, here we are today, 30 years married, and people from all over are constantly coming to me for advice and help on their relationships. So that's how I became the Love Alchemist.
Wow. That is amazing. That is a great story. That's one of that American-made stories. I love that.
Yeah. 12 years old at the playground, right?
I know.
Get a Lifetime movie about that one.
Yeah, it needs to get I can see the playground situation right now, right? That's pretty cool, though. I love it.
Especially the rejection. How about you?
Oh, man. So, okay. Well, I don't have the beautiful story that you have. However, it's coming out beautiful because I still learn from it, right? I became a coach because I've been married and divorced 4 times, and nobody ever taught me. Nobody told me how to be a wife. I didn't even learn how to be a quote unquote woman until I went through some things of my own. Because I was raised by my dad. So, dad doesn't know how to be a woman, So I actually felt like, after going through all of these heartaches and these pains and going through these things, I was trying to figure out, why was I going through this? And I was stuck in the place of, why me? Like, why am I going through this? What is this problem? And I began to do some self-searching after the last divorce, and started to realize that I wasn't going through all of this stuff just for myself. I was actually being prepared to become the woman that I so desperately needed when I was going through all of that junk, but for other women. And so it was my opportunity for me to take my pain and use it to help other people, so that it wasn't for naught. So that it was something that became beautiful, kind of how they said, the beauty out of the ashes kind of thing. And I started to, do self-mastery. I started to take coaching classes. I started to do a lot of things to kind of help myself to become healed. And I started finding myself, I've been helping people and women and giving advice for years. But I started, putting out there that I'm a speaker and started talking to people and started training and coaching people. And I actually have some people who are abroad. I got a lady that's in Italy, a lady that's in Brazil that follow me in my tribe. And so it's really, it just really is a part of who I am, if you will. It just happened that I had all this stuff to go along with it as far as the experience is concerned. But I just wanted to keep women from going through some of the things I've gone through my life.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. And let me just add to that. Part of the reason that I ended up getting into coaching is because, like I said, there were a lot of people who liked what they saw when they see me and my wife together. They're like, man, you guys have been together for 20 years and 25 years, and now it's 30 years, and your relationship still seems fresh. And so part of as good as it feels to hear that, and I could actually take what I have and I could ride off into the sunset with that. But there's just so many people who are struggling with getting what I have, or getting some sort of harmony in their relationships. And so I feel like I owe it to humanity, if you will. I know that might sound kind of cheesy, maybe even kind of corny, but I remember Muhammad Ali said, service is the rent you pay for life on this planet.
Wow.
And so a large part of why I do what I do is because I feel like I owe a debt to humanity for the gift that I've been given.
Yes. And I concur with that, because our lives, they don't belong to us. They were gifted to us. Yeah. So the things that we either get to enjoy, or even the things that we actually go through and not necessarily enjoy, we still have to use them as beneficial to this life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good. I love it. I love it. So go ahead.
I was going to ask you next, who is it that you serve? And you kind of touched on it a little bit in your first statement, but I don't know if you want to go into that a little bit more. Who do you serve?
Yeah, so most of my clients are either women or couples. And I niche, of course, I'm a woman. And like I said, I've been through as many as 10 things. 10 women have been together. If you put them all together, I've probably been through all those things that they can go through and more. So that's part of why that's my major niche. And I help those women to help them become their own brands. They call me the B.R.A.N.D.S coach. And the B.R.A.N.D.S is an acronym, and it basically stands for build your confidence, rediscover who you are, achieve your goals, navigate your emotions so that they work for you and not against you, drop the baggage from the past and all of the pain that you've been through, and surpass your self-limiting beliefs. So I help women that are typically 35 and above who have gone through some things. They've seen some things in life, maybe single and divorced, where they have been challenged in their relationships, and they're trying to figure out, because they're so busy being there for someone else, so busy being the support for someone else, the cheerleader for someone else, they kind of forgot who they were. They kind of forgot what they want. They kind of forgot who's important in their lives first and foremost, which is themselves. And it's really easy as the caregivers, the nurturers, to forget that. So I help them to build their confidence, rediscover who they are, achieve their goals, navigate their emotions, drop the baggage, and surpass their self-limiting beliefs. And the same thing for couples, because those couples that have been together for a while, the ones that they kind of, looking at each other going like, why are you still here? Kind of thing. Or, have been through some things in their relationships and they can't kind of get back to that. I kind of help them go through the exact same thing that woman is doing, building the confidence back into each other, helping them to rediscover who each other are, helping them to go back to those goals from the beginning of those relationships and say, hey, what were we trying to do? What was our whole purpose in this? navigating those emotions from the hurt and the pain that they cause each other, because we're human. We hurt each other. We disappoint each other. That's going to happen. But when you learn how to drop that baggage, you learn how to create that harmony or create that place where you're not balanced, because I don't believe there's balance, where you actually are dancing together again, then you can surpass those self-limiting beliefs that you have about the relationship, thinking that this is going to be over. Why are we doing this? All of those types of things. And so those are the type of people that I help. What about you? What's your niche?
That's powerful. I love it. And I love that you talked about overcoming those self-limiting beliefs, because there's so much power and so much magic in believing. And it just depends on which direction you believe in. So if you believe the wrong thing, you can unravel something that would otherwise be beautiful.
Very true.
So like you, I help couples, but I tend to focus on not only couples, but the men. And so I guess that's the beautiful dynamic that we're presenting here. I enjoy helping men. And I help women too, but I really enjoy empowering men with the information, because men are typically more information driven. And when we know how to do a thing, then we can put more energy and effort into bringing that thing into fruition. And so one of the things that I noticed that a lot of men, and myself included, this was one of the challenges that I had early on in my marriage. For us, most of the thrill is in the hunt, right? And so once we capture the prey, for lack of a better term, right? Once we get our woman, that's the bulk. That's where the bulk of the excitement lies. And so what I like to empower men with is the knowledge of what it takes to maintain that. Yeah, because it's not just there's I don't know if it was a song, but I think it was one of the comedians that I heard say the same thing it took to get your baby hooked is the same thing you got to do to keep it, right?
I love that.
And so there is a continuous work. And so for a lot of men, one of the complaints is we say, man, it's just hard work. It's hard work. And my slogan is, it's not hard work, it's heart work. And once you understand what it is that you have to do, then all you have to do is have the heart to show up and do it.
Man, that's good. That's really good. I love that heart work. That's beautiful, because I mean, when you think of it as heart work, how difficult is your heart beating in your chest? It's naturally just doing so, right?
Right.
That's beautiful. I love that.
And I'll add to that is, one thing that men don't like to be is called out for not having heart, not having enough heart. And so when you challenge a man and say, well, do you have enough heart for this task? Hey, ain't none of us trying to be, minimized by not being able to show up because we lack heart. And so just framing it that way and telling a man that is hard work, you might be surprised. Well, you wouldn't be surprised, but it's truly inspiring to challenge a man in that way, because men grow through challenge, and there's a slogan or this idea that women grow through praise and men grow through challenge. And I know that it goes both ways. There are a lot of women who grow through challenge as well, and just like there are a lot of men who grow through praise. But generally speaking, right, men rise to the occasion. We grow through our challenges. And what could be more challenging oftentimes than finding harmony in our relationships, unfortunately.
I love that. Because I've been saying for years, it takes a real man to be with one woman. Any man can be with multiple ones, because he don't have to show up the same way every time.
Right.
Maybe more if he has to show up the same way every time. So it's repetition. And you can repeat something over and over again, but trying to find something brand new every time with the same person that knows your flaws, that's that man thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't know that you'll ever necessarily find something brand new every time. But again, to your point about just finding the harmony with what is.
Yeah.
And there will be some new experiences for sure, because we're continually evolving. I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago, and neither is my wife. And so it's almost like there's a reintroducing that is taking place on a regular routine kind of basis, in a sense. Now, again, that's in context, right? Because at our core, we're still the same person that we were when we first met, really, to a large degree. But there is some newness to be explored, and so, and this is one of the concepts that I go over. I don't want to belabor the point, but this is one of the concepts that I talk about in my book: the idea of remaining a student.
Yeah.
Learning to remain a student of the person that you're in relationship with, because they're always evolving. They're continually evolving. They're growing. They learn something new today that they didn't know yesterday. And so there's always something to talk about.
Right. Right. I love that. What's the name of your book?
It's called 31 Days to Mastering Your Relationship, the Heartwork book.
I love it. I love it.
Heartwork book.
I love it. The Heartwork book.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. We got to get that out there. Yeah, because I mean, you can imagine with all the stuff that I've been through. That's why my book is called Rejection Saved My Life, because of all the rejection. But it's still, even though it sounds a little rough, it gives 15 transformational keys on how to use rejection to fuel your life. And I love acronyms because I feel like there's so much power in the one word. Fuel stands for faith upgraded to exponential levels. So, yeah.
Wow. 93 octane.
Yep, 93 octane.
Concept, though. I love that. Rejection saved my life.
Yes. So that is really good, Vaun. So, I mean, tell me, who inspires you?
As cliche as this might sound, no one inspires me more than my wife. She really does make me want to be just a better man at the foundation. And then, of course, from that stems me wanting to be a better father and husband and grandfather, and the list goes on. But I would say the bulk of my fuel, the bulk of my why, or a large part of it, is my wife. And then I would say, secondly, outside of that, I would have to say Dr. Ruben West. He's my coach. He's a speaker trainer, and just the talent that this man has when it comes to his dynamic speaking prowess. Man, he's brilliant, and so I draw a lot from him as well. How about you?
I love that. You know what? My kids, if it weren't for my kids, I don't know if I would have pushed as hard as I pushed. I think I would have been a criminal or something. I'm scared, but
no, you weren't. You ain't kidding.
They make me push because they are two individuals, and it's amazing because I'm this individual, and I push them, and they always talk about, Mom, we just look up to you. I'm thinking, no, I look up to y'all. They are the ones that they don't try to be like the Joneses. They don't try to be like their friends. They're usually the ones that would be considered the kind of the black sheep or the outcast, because they don't fit into these molds that a lot of these millennials are in. My son, he's 28 years old, been married to his wife for about 3 years now. And to watch them work through their issues, and it's them against the world, is inspiring to me, because even though he saw me go through all these marriages and divorces and relationships and things, he is a family man. So that inspires me. That lets me know that, I didn't do all bad, right? With my daughter, she is an entrepreneur. She's kind of like a mini me. She has work ethic out of this world. She hates being late for anything. She wants order in everything. And so to watch them be these individuals and have this authenticity about themselves is really inspiring to me, because it ultimately is really where I really want my clients to be. And that's really where all of those things in the B.R.A.N.D.S acronym is, to really get the person to ultimately be authentic in themselves.
Yeah.
And so to watch my own kids do that, it's like, wow, okay, so I can do this with somebody else, right? So it's pretty cool.
That's powerful. And those are two of the most, I talked about my wife and my grandchildren. You talked about your children. Those are the most organic fuel sources, I think, or two of the most organic fuel sources that we could have. So,
Yeah.
what better place to get inspiration from, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's your end game with your clients? I mean, like, I talked about how I really want them to be authentically them. What's yours?
I think so. That's a tough question, but I think it's simple, but there's some depth to it, because it's kind of, again, I do and say maybe some corny things, but I think back to this TV show back in I want to say the 80s, back
Okay.
when the Cosby Show was on, and he had this spinoff show called A Different World.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was, college kids on the college campus. And what they did was they inspired kids all over the country to wear these HBCU, historically black colleges and universities, sweatshirts and hoodies. And so even students who weren't wearing, or who weren't enrolled in college, they were wearing hoodies pretending that they were in college. So it made being a college kid, it made being a student cool again. And
Mm,
so just bringing that back to what I do, why I do, and my end game is I would like to impact the idea of making relationships cool again. I want to
wow.
make healthy relationships cool again, because right now there are a lot of people. I mean, people have gone through so much pain and so many trials and so much turmoil. And when I think about your story, when you talk about being married 4 times and being divorced 4 times, you still have that inspiration to want to do it again. And, and
Yeah.
and there's a testament to how strong love is, and how the beautiful possibilities of it all. And I think you are the embodiment of this idea that relationships are cool, because never mind what I've been through, it's nothing compared to what I'm going to. And so I love being a part of this movement to make relationships cool again.
I love it. Thank you so much for that, because I'm telling you, you have inspired me. Because like the longest person that I know that has been married is my dad and his wife, who happens to be his fourth wife. Dad, I'm sorry if I was supposed to say that, but we all know, right? But
We know now.
right. But so we kind of see the generational things that
Yeah.
happen, that we don't really recognize that are happening. But he is the longest person that their relationship is the longest relationship that I've known, so and they're older. So kind of they don't count, but they count. So to meet you and to hear your story and to hear the story about you and your wife and how long you guys have been together, that inspires me, and that makes me feel like, okay, so I'm not out here in oblivion
Right.
thinking that I'm going, get this next last husband. But it makes me know that love can endure, in spite of the things that I have personally seen. Because I think I've mentioned this to you before. It's kind of, sometimes people can find it difficult if they've never been to the beach to realize what the beach can bring you, the warmth between the toes when you step in the sand. And if nobody's there to explain what that warmth feels like, and what the splash of the water feels like on your face when you're walking across the water, if they don't know, if you don't even explain that to them, their imagination can be a little fleeting. So watching you and listening to you and your story, and watching how passionate that you are with relationships, has made me go, yeah, of course I want to be a part of this journey with Vaun, because I think that this is going to be a dynamic situation for us to bring to the masses of people that we're going to be in front of, to be able to help them harmonize their relationship after they found common ground.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a very powerful. I know we went. This ended up being more than just a typical type of intro show, but I think we exchanged some very constructive and very powerful ideas, and so I'm glad that we took the time to just explain to our listeners a little bit about ourselves, who we are, and what we do, and like I said, equally important, why they should care.
Yeah.
I think that your experiences combined with my experiences, that is a brand of alchemy in and of itself. And I think that what's going to come out of that is going to be something very powerful for those who listen in to us.
I believe the same thing. I believe the same thing. We are definitely on one accord with that. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being a part of my life and sharing this journey with me and allowing me to watch your journey as well.
Likewise, likewise. I think we're both going to grow from this, and the benefit will be those who are able to come in contact with us that we can help from that. So thank you as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it all. We are signing out until we talk to y'all on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then. We're out. Coach Michelamon.
Vaun, the Love Alchemist.
All
Peace.
right. Peace.